Well, that's the new Junior Yamaha Junior. It's called an FG Junior Yamaha acoustic guitar that I got today at through an auction, an online auction. So we paid around $50 for this guitar, and I had done an unboxing. And after I unboxed the guitar, I took a Sharpie and colored in some of the dents on the sides. It had spots that looked like it was kind of chewed up. So I colored in those spots, and then I began cleaning it and polishing it and tightened the screws on the tuner pegs. I did not oil them because they didn't need it. They felt really good. And then I actually had a set of strings that were really close to the manufacturer spec. The low string, they recommend a 50.052, and I had a .054. So that was really it. All the other 5 strings were exactly what the manufacturer recommends. So it was neat that I had a set of strings here that were really close, with the exception of that E string having a little tiny bit more mass to it than it should. But I really don't think that's going to matter much. Now, the one thing that I found a plus, well, there was like a couple of things. I mean, for one, the quality of the instrument is actually pretty good. It's surprisingly doesn't appear to need to be taken in for any work. I thought, am I going to have to take this in and get it set up? It's a little. This is like my parlor guitar. Is what this is. It's just something for me to plink around on. I may very well use it for recording because I think it has a different sound than my 2 other acoustic guitars, which are significantly larger. But that's why I got this. I wanted a really small acoustic. Not the first act ones that you see. I bought one of those and thought maybe I could fix it up and use it for recording, but it's just, I'm guessing I would need to replace the tuners on it and then figure out how to set it up to get it. But now I don't need to do that. I did use that first act. Like we paid. It was $5, but it had a half price thing, so it was $2.50 for the guitar. So I had $1 pack of strings that I put on it, and I did use it for recording. I got a USB microphone and put it right up by in between the sound hole and the 12th fret. Now the intonation on that guitar was off, but I tried to adjust for each piece that I recorded to retune it, and it sounds pretty good on the recordings that I used it on, which, if you're interested in hearing that, the demo is called The Last Fuzz on Earth, and it's a piece that I did for Debbie Ever when just before she sold the rights to her business and did a 2-year or 5-year cease and desist clause where she wasn't allowed to build any pedals. And I made this demo for an fuzz pedal that she had. And I did do some acoustic guitar work in there with a fuzz guitar over it. And it's absolutely lovely, and you would never guess that it was this, $2.50. Well, it's I put a pack of strings on it, so about it's like a $5 guitar. When you hear the piece, this acoustic guitar comes in, and it's like, man, it's beautiful. It's a real simple part, like 3-string thing that I'm just plucking out these like a music box but it just worked with the bass and the guitar and whatever reverb I processed with it. So that gave me a thought that, like, you don't have to always have, you know, some big dreadnought with all these pencil mics and acoustic mics pointed in different places on it to pick up the perfect sound. And I do want to use this for recording. But as of for right now, I'm just happy that it doesn't need a setup and that it cleaned up as well as it did. The two things that I had mentioned, number one, the previous owner did never remove the plastic protective coating off of the pickguard, which had some significant damage on it. I was like, oh, that pickguard looks like crap. And then I went in here and started picking, and sure enough, ripped that sucker right off. It's in the unboxing video, which is like a half hour of me talking, basically. So that was the first plus. And the second plus is that this padded gig bag is pretty nice. Like, this is good enough. Some of the gig bags, they're not really padded. They're just, you know, this has nice plush material inside of it. It's got some padding, and it does have a little schmutz on here that I'm going to work at that right now. See how I do it? I go to make a video, and then I get you guys here, and then I immediately start doing chores and working. So yeah, it's a very small instrument. Which honestly, I think a parlor size, if you were going to get something like this, like a 30, there's one that I saw that was 3.5 inches bigger than this, and I think that, like, this might be actually a little small, but for what it is, for, you know, for what I paid for it, to add a little acoustic guitar to the collection, that's a brand name, it's a Yamaha, that it's well built, that it's pre-loved, so I don't have to freak out when it gets knocked over. And it doesn't really sound like, oh, he's playing that small guitar. That's what I like about these. They sound nice and punchy, I think is a good word to describe it. So I'm thrilled with this thing. I'm super happy that I got it. It didn't cost a real lot. Maybe this can bring me back into the world of playing acoustic guitar. I really would like to get my other two out and give them the same treatment that I gave this guitar today, which was just spend a couple hours cleaning them up, polishing them, putting a new set of strings on, and tuning them up, you know. Because this was always part of my thing. Like I said, there was a couple year period where I didn't play any electric guitar. I only played acoustic, and I got good at playing an acoustic guitar. There's a significant difference in how you approach it, you know, and how you play it. In that those pieces that I played earlier are stuff that I remembered, and then, you know, mimicking some of the stuff that I played on guitar, which was on electric, which is, some of it's not, some of it's the same thing, you know. You can do one or the other, but playing the acoustic guitar, you should kind of lend credence to the fact that it is a different instrument and adjust your style and the way that you pick and the way that you fret it. And there's different things that you do. So I would like to grow in that, and I would like that to become more of a part of my recorded music, but I've never been able to get a really good recorded acoustic guitar sound. That's a secret between me and you that I'll tell you right now. Every time I've done it, I've just been like, ugh, just doesn't sound up to snuff. And with the way that I do things, that I lay down so many tracks and it gets so dense, having stuff in there that it just can't keep up with the other stuff. Or it'll clash. The parts will run into each other. You'll have one part that does some accent, and then this other thing is doing something else that's stepping on that. So it just kind of turns into sonic mush at some point. And that's like the tightrope that I walk on when I'm doing this type of work. So anyway, I'm super happy about this. The case is nice. The plastic was still on the thing. It cleaned up reasonably well. I put new strings on it, and it sounds fantastic compared to what it sounded like with those old rusty strings on there. So, yeah, do I recommend miniature guitar? Well, if that sounds appealing to you, like the idea of having something, a parlor guitar, right? Go for it. You should get one. Get a the parlor scale is, I think it's more like a 3/4, Now, when I set out to buy this, I wanted the tiny one. I really did. So that just means that I'm going to have to adapt my playing style, which, if you understand the fact and can appreciate, try to put yourself in my shoes of only having a pinky and an index to fret, you could understand why having the strings so close together, like to be able to grab, to be able to play that A minor with one finger. The E minor, I'm using 2. And there's something to be said about playing without a pick when you're doing this type of thing. So yeah, I'm happy boy today. So much fun. And hopefully this will help me with writing, because you can just as soon take a piece that you plunk out on this and then play it on your Strat with your multi-effect or your pedal board, and it'll sound magnifique, pretty good, better than plunking it on this little pea shooter. Because I mean, it is what it is, and that's the that's the balance that you have to strike. Is like, okay, this thing, it's tiny, it doesn't quite sound like it should. I mean, let's face it, it's a pea shooter guitar, and then the neck is squeezed so tight together, so it's challenging to play. You have to play it a little differently. So I'm not saying that this is the answer, that this is some fantastic thing, and I've discovered some new thing. It's just parlor guitars are fun. These are the type of thing that you could take out on the porch. You can take out to a campfire. You don't have to worry about it so much because it is what it is, you know. And especially if you only paid about $50 for it. So if you don't have something in like this in your collection, don't take my playing skills for it, because I'm, missing 2 fingers on my fret hand to be able to play. I only use my pinky and my index, and you can see that here. See how clean those two are and how they look a little different? They look a little funky. That's they don't call me Petey Two Finger for nothing. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to cut you loose instead of just randomly playing really poorly on that and keeping this rolling. I'm going to have something to eat. I got to try to tidy up in here. There's some stinky ass garbage in the kitchen that's got to go. And hopefully I can get that done before my old lady comes home, and then she can go, oh, she doesn't care. She really doesn't. She'd rather not have me do anything because she cares for my condition. She knows that I suffer chronic pain. She knows that I'm not faking like a lot of other people think I am. So it puts me in a weird position because I want to do the right thing, but I'm not really allowed to. So in this case, I am going to try to get some things done quickly here, because I think she's going to be getting home pretty shortly. So I'm going to let you guys go, and thank you for joining me on this one. This was a very special day for me. I had waited for this. They had promised it really early. I don't know if you've ever noticed how FedEx will promise you your stuff is coming, like it'll be here Wednesday. And then Wednesday will come and it'll be like 9 o'clock, and you'll go to check it, 9 p.m. And it'll be like, we don't have any information about your thing, but it's coming. And then the next day, it'll be like, it was delayed, dog. It's coming in 2 days. And every time, like when I'll look at it initially that first time, I'll go, man, are you kidding me? It's coming on Wednesday already? That doesn't sound right. But then I get it in my head, hey, that thing is coming Wednesday, because I'll keep checking the FedEx update. And it's Wednesday, and then it comes on Friday or Monday. So if you're expecting a FedEx delivery, you might want to tack on like 2 days for it, which sucks because I like to be here. I've seen some and heard some things, like when the truck's parked out there, and it sounds like King Kong is in the truck throwing a fit. The guy's like throwing boxes up against the wall. Like, what are you doing? And we had another one come in here and throw a box at the door. Which it's like, I watch people and I see how unbelievably lazy people are. Like, some people will walk in muddy grass rather than walk and take like 3 extra steps. Like, why would you do that? You have nice shoes on. You're going to walk through the muddy grass in like February, rather than just take an extra 3 steps and stay on the perfectly dry concrete. So if you're out there and you're lazy, just take those extra 3 steps. Don't go through the dirty grass. If you work for FedEx, don't throw my guitar up against the wall of the truck, please, because I'll probably be in there recording you. That's the type of guy I am. Because I'm not lazy. I'm not. You might think I am. You might think I'm faking a back injury so I don't have to work. But the last thing that this guy is lazy. No, I'm not. And I got a secret for you. I don't like lazy people. I really don't like them. That's not cool. We all need to do our share. Just make an effort to be good, to be awesome. And hug your pets. That's the most important thing. So tonight, I'm more than likely going to be watching The Dog Who Stopped the War. I had done a review, and yesterday we had watched The Peanut Butter Solution, which is a movie that's made by the same director. We're going to watch that other movie tonight, so I'm really looking forward to that. We had a delicious, delicious pork tenderloin that was just like spiced. It wasn't like the gravy version, and we had canned potatoes with it, which, man, I love those canned potatoes. I really do. My dad threw a fit in a restaurant called The Mint. We pulled into this town. We used to travel with my dad. And I remember we were in like the downtown section. There was like high rise and like skyscraper buildings, big buildings. But this was a small town like Duluth or something. It was some weird place. And everything was closed. We got there, it was like maybe like 8:30 at night. And there was some guys in an insurance office, and my dad said, "Leaf, come with me." And so I went with my dad, and we went into this office, and he asked these guys, "Hey, I'm here in town on business, and I got my family. Is there a place around here to get a good sit down family meal, like just a good restaurant, not like a nightclub type of place, but a good food?" And they said, "Oh yeah, the Mint. It's on 47th and Bruckner." So we go over there. We go in this place, and the waitress was kind of rude to my dad. And I remember my dad was pissed. He was pissed. And I think it took forever. And there was nobody in there. And they brought this food out, and it was bad. It was not good. And there was 3 boiled potatoes on my dad's plate, and a bunch of grease from the steak or whatever he got. And he went to cut this potato, and it kept flying all over the plate like a hockey puck. And he shorted out and shoved the plate and got up, "Shitty meal." Or he said something. I think it was "shitty meal," I think is what he said. And we all stormed out. We all had to follow him. And we had driven all day and night to get to Duluth. It's 18-hour drive or something. We were all hungry. And I don't think we paid. I think we just marched out of there. My dad just yelled, "Shitty meal." And then we left. So that's one of our favorite stories to retell about my dad, the Mint. And I'm sure my mom had all kinds of Triscuits and chicken in a biscuit, crackers, and Cheese Whiz in a can, and maybe some Doritos. So we just more than likely went to the pop machine in the hotel and got cans of pop, and everyone just snacked out that night. So yeah, I'll let you guys go after that one. Take care of yourselves, hug your pets, and peace.